Thanks so much, Barry, for having me.
My pleasure. All right, Adele Stewartson is the event coordinator for Fusion coming up at the RBC Center November 9th and 10th. Back in just a moment. You're watching Right to the Point on TV Cogeco.
Canada's towns and cities have a rich cultural and natural heritage. For those of us who live and work within these urban landscapes, we need the beauty and the environmental benefits of trees. Conserving these natural landscapes is everyone's responsibility. Help Tree Canada grow clean air. Trees do their part. Let's do ours.
You can eradicate polio. You can promote peace. You can feed the hungry. You can help children do better in school. Because you can get involved with Rotary. Because Rotary believes that by working together, you can do anything. Learn more at Rotary.org.
How can you connect with over 56,000 social and community services across Ontario? It's simple. Dial 211. 211's helpline is free and confidential and answered by highly trained specialists. And our phone line can help you in over 150 languages. We are here 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, on the phone and online. 211, when you don't know where to turn.
Welcome back to Right to the Point on TV Cogeco. My name is Barry Wright. Joining me now on the show is Ami Soni, who is with the local chapter of the Art of Living Foundation. Welcome, and so welcome to the show. I guess sort of let's start with what the Art of Living Foundation is. Give us a little education, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go from the macro to the micro, I guess. The Art of Living Foundation is essentially we're a nonprofit charitable organization. We've been around for about 32 years. It was originally started in southern India. It's basically a humanitarian educational foundation, and that's basically what actually myself and my husband do. Is we teach many workshops that essentially help you deal with stress, keep the mind positive, and just really be in your true nature in a sense, right? And the thought is that the core, I guess the root cause of so many of the issues we have today is stress and inability to handle your own negativity in the mind, right? And so it's about enabling each individual to do that better. And once each person can do that better, then you have a better family, a better society, a better community. So those are the workshops, and then basically all the proceeds from the workshops go to humanitarian projects around the world.
And I see that you did a local. You've begun to do service projects here in the area as well. You had one not long ago.
Yeah, just last month, middle of September, we did a fundraiser for Goodwill Industries. We've been wanting to do something locally for a while, so it was a good start. It was a little little good start experiment,
sure.
Yeah. And
but you hope to do more of those as
yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, the idea is to do what's relevant and necessary to the local community.
Right.
And here we felt, well, that's Goodwill's doing great work in the local community, and we thought, well, it would be nice to support them. So it was a nice little project.
You were kind enough to pass along to me prior to the interview your background, your CV, if you will, yours and your husband's, and obviously by at least some standards that people define us by, you and your husband would both be considered sort of very successful people by way of business background and that sort of thing. So why the transition from corporate business, if you will, to the foundation?
Yeah. Well, I like how you said, by some definition of success, and that's exactly it, like we had that success that you typically look for. We had good jobs, we had 6-digit salaries, we had good family, and we traveled a lot, and we did all of those things. And we were quite happy doing it. We weren't unhappy at all. We were progressing very rapidly in our careers. At a young age, we had seen all of that. And I think it was just, we came to a point where you start to wonder what next. It was great what we were doing. And then, one point, luckily we both felt this, my husband and I, that at some point you think, okay, so we've got maybe 40 years or more of active life. And you think, is this what you want to do for the rest of your life? And what is the purpose of being here? I mean, sure, our bank balances will get better, and the house will get bigger, and the car will get better, but that didn't seem enough. So we were maybe for a year or two just thinking, like, what is it that we need to do with our lives? And that's when we had chanced upon the Art of Living workshop. Just very much by chance. We didn't know we were searching or seeking for something like that. It was just, we just by chance, a friend said, come along, give me company. And so we said, okay, why not, And she called it, it's some yoga breathing thingy. That was our introduction to the Art of Living workshop. So we said, why not? And but that experience of the workshop and what we took away was really profound. Instantly you just have that feeling that there's something very special in it. And so it wasn't a sudden change. We kept up with the practices, and we had our careers and hand in hand, and we started to get involved doing some service for the foundation. And then we were at a crossroads, and we felt like, we really wanted to dedicate more of ourselves to doing something more meaningful, something with a bigger purpose, perhaps. And so we reached that point, and we decided to go one way. It almost kind of happened. I don't know. We do get this question a lot. How could you make that switch, And it wasn't like one fine day we said, okay, we're going to do this big thing. It just felt like the most natural progression of life, and we just did that. And we've never looked back. It's been almost 10 years now that we've been doing this full time as volunteers, basically.
And you mentioned, obviously, you teach workshops and seminars and that sort of thing, and you have a couple of seminars upcoming locally in the next little while?
Yes, yeah. We have actually, what we focus on, we have several other workshops we teach. But we have the Art of Living workshop, which is basically for adults, just the general population, anybody who wants to learn something, wants to maybe grow, wants to maybe handle their stress, or just improve ourselves in some aspect. So that's actually starting tomorrow.
Okay.
We've rented a space at the Newton Center for that. It starts at 6 in the evening, and it runs 2 evenings, and then Saturday, Sunday in the daytime. So it's about a 20-hour workshop. And then we have another one that we call the Art of Meditation. Basically, it's just purely focused on meditation. A lot of people we find today are looking for meditation, but they don't know how to do it. And also, there's a lot of misconceptions, I find, about what meditation is. So we have a 6-hour workshop, basically 2 hours over 3 days.
Okay.
And that's happening on November 23rd to the 25th.
All right. Now, when you talk about things like meditation and breathing control and things along those lines, stress relief, some people might say, well, my stress relief is I go and I watch the sunset, or I go and I go and take a walk in the woods, or any number of things. So, sort of what makes your technique, if you will, what makes it different than maybe what people might do on their own?
Absolutely. I mean, those are great things. First of all, it's just if you recognize that you need to do something like that, that's already, kudos to you. That you know you need that. I mean, everybody needs a little break for the mind. But you know, what happens oftentimes with those things is that you come right back to where the mind was. You know, you get that little break.
Sort of a short-term
Yeah,
break, yeah.
and it's a distraction, but then when you come back, it's just everything floods in and you're exactly, you know, oftentimes where you were.
Okay.
And that's the power of these breathing practices, this meditation, is over time it brings a real fundamental shift in the way you handle your life, the way you look at life, the way you handle stress and negative situations. I mean, for us, that was when we saw that change in ourselves, is when we realized how powerful this is and how necessary it is, especially in this day and age. I mean, I'm just amazed at how many times in a day I hear, oh, I'm just too busy, too busy, too busy. And we are too busy ourselves as well, but that just, the busier you get, the more you need something to come back to your center, to keep your mind focused. And it increases your ability exponentially to handle more and more.
Okay.
You know, and that was our personal experience and the experience of, we've taught maybe thousands of people now in the last 10 years. And so I think there's it's a very fundamental change in the way your mind functions. And it's more of a permanent break than just a temporary break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one of the other issues that's drawn a lot of attention lately is obviously the suicide issue here in Sarnia-Lambton, and you've created a program. I think it's called Yes program. Tell us a little bit about that and how it might sort of help with some of the issues that are happening here locally.
That's really, it's really been something that touched us so deeply. And every time we hear something like that, I mean, there was just a big article in Maclean's recently about this on the university campuses, the level of depression and anxiety and suicidal tendencies and all of that. And every time we read that, we feel like, oh my gosh, because we feel there's something that we can do to help. So basically, the what I talked about, the Art of Living workshop, is for adults, and we have that for different ages.
Okay.
So the Yes is for the teenage, from 14 to 17. We have an earlier age group, 8 to 13, called the Art Excel. And then we have the university called the course called Yes Plus. That's 18 to 30, you know, university and young professionals. So it's essentially the same knowledge, the same techniques, but more geared to the age group that is relevant for. And that's just it. I mean, I think once you've done these practices, once you have that strength of mind, so to speak, then you maybe you go through a certain phase where you may be tempted to do something extreme like that, or you don't know how to handle. But I think I would think it would be almost impossible to go to that extreme. There would be enough of awareness, enough of a control of your mind that you would know to keep that perspective, you know. I mean, for me, in the last 10 years, I won't say I haven't gone through stressful situations, but there's a sea change in how you handle it at that time, how much you're aware of your mind saying, I want to do this, and you know, no, this is not the right thing to do, you know. So if you're equipped, I feel every individual, and especially at a teenage age, you know, those age when there's so much transition, there's a lot of, we all know that's not an easy time of your life, right? If you're equipped with those kind of tools, then you're set.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt, but we're out of time, but I appreciate you coming in, and we thank all our guests tonight, and thanks to those behind the camera and in the booth. And thank you for taking time to allow us into your home tonight as well. Until next Wednesday at 7, I'm Barry Wright, reminding you you're watching Right to the Point on TV Cogeco, truly local television.
The illegal use of prescription drugs is a problem that is skyrocketing here in Sarnia-Lambton.
Just because these drugs are prescribed by doctors and other medical professionals and dispensed by pharmacists does not mean they are not addictive and potentially dangerous